Hey guys, welcome back to Macros Monday. Okay, well, it's Halloween week, and we've had some questions regarding. So right now we're in the middle of we are on week 3 of our current nutrition challenge. We've had some good successes right now, some little bloops, so some thumbs ups that have happened in the last few weeks. And so with that, we've had some other members ask, well, I'm not currently on your challenge. What can I do to start being more healthy, if you will, start my diet? And keep this in mind, diet means way of life. So if you can think of it more of like a lifestyle change, which is the first thing that you need to do. So we're gonna give you 5 tips here that's gonna help you, things that we believe. There are hundreds of things that you can do, but here's 5 good tips that you could do. So first, that whatever lifestyle that you choose for your diet or your way of life, it's gonna allow you to eat foods that you enjoy. So, pizza, donuts. You can get this into your not everyday diet, but once a week or once every other week or something, you're having that treat. This last weekend we had an amazing breast cancer event.
It was awesome.
And we had different things out. We had waffles, we had awesome sugar cookies, and then we had lots of healthy food from
The sugar cookies. His mom made like 80 sugar cookies for this event and bagged all of them individually. People were amazing sugar cookies. So thank you, Mrs. Kivett, if you watch this. That was awesome.
That's what I grew up with. So,
yes.
Yeah. So I blame her.
Yeah.
But you can absolutely enjoy those types of things in life. So make sure that you can, whatever you're choosing, that road, don't start restricting yourself right away, because then it typically will last for a couple weeks, and then all of a sudden you're like, I can't do this.
It's like quitting cold turkey is really hard for some people, and we can get into this a little bit deeper later. I was about to go down a rabbit hole. We're going to skip that.
Yeah.
Next, guys, try to pick something where there are a few guidelines to follow by, not 1,000 different rules, right? Because the same way that cutting cold turkey can be really hard for you, trying to think does my diet allow me to have black beans? Does it allow me to have eggs? Like normal foods that people eat, and then just everything under the sun being restricted can be really hard for you to have all those guidelines. So pick things and have a few, right? I am going to make sure I have protein with every meal.
Right.
Great guideline to have. And pick a few of those. I'm going to make sure I drink a glass of water every hour, or whatever it is that you're going to do. But have a few guidelines in there that you can follow, rather than having all these tons and tons of rules down it.
And that's the thing, you might not necessarily type those rules out, but
Yeah.
you start putting those in your head, I can't do that, I can't do that. But with that, you should, number 3, allow yourself to keep things from being deprived from. So for example, it's Halloween this week. So my favorite candy is a Reese's cup. And you better believe that I have not deprived myself of a Reese's cup.
Hey.
I like to take these and throw them in the freezer, and they're a nice treat. But do I do it every day? Absolutely not. Do I do it maybe once a week? Sure, absolutely. That's my treat, on a Sunday or a Tuesday or a Friday. I don't call one particular day my cheat day. I don't do that, because then in my head, for really most people too, you shouldn't call it a cheat day, because then you start looking at food a different way.
It starts becoming now I can have it, and I can only have it this day, and I'm going to eat everything in sight on this day. It just falls off. So that deprivation can be a bad thing in your lifestyle. And building into that, like Jason said before, this is about a lifestyle, right? So one of the reasons people ask me should I go paleo? Should I try to go on the ketogenic diet? If it supports the lifestyle you want, it can be really good, right? Some people are I really want to dive into this paleo thing, and I want to cut grains out of my diet, and I want to cut dairy out of my diet, and I want to live that lifestyle.
Right.
Those are the people that I see have a lot of success on it. People who are I want to go paleo, but I also want to go out on the weekends, and I want to include pizza in my diet. It gets this kind of pulling you in all these directions, and it's like the old saying, you can't serve 2 masters. Try to go with the lifestyle you want. If you're a little more active socially, and you know that you're going to be out with your friends having beers and pizza once every other week, or you're going to be going to football parties, and there's going to be wings and stuff that's going to pull you away from what your lifestyle is going to be, then find something that's a little more suitable for that, right? But think about your diet in terms of, what is my lifestyle like?
Yeah.
Do I meal prep? Do I not have time to meal prep? Do I travel a lot? These are all things to consider, because if you do things that are going to pull you out of that diet, it gets very demotivating very fast, and the next thing you know, you're just kind of on that downward trend, and you're back to where you started at, rather than moving forward.
And the last point here, and the last tip, our 5th tip, which is he touched on, is things that don't isolate you from being social. So just that going out, having pizza, and beer with your friends every once in a while or whatever it is, or like you don't have to be that person that like you've probably experienced it before where you go out with friends on a weekend and you're like, I'm on a diet, and then all of a sudden your friends are like, oh, you can't have a beer, they kind of isolate you in that corner, and then you kind of feel like, well, why am I even out? And then you get angry about it and you're like, well, I don't want to be on this diet, and then
I'm gonna have a pitcher of beer,
right, so
and 3 pizzas.
So it goes the other way. But there are ways when you go out. So like one thing that you can do in terms of like drinks, watch what you're putting into your drink. So like if you're doing mixers, do the low calorie mixers as opposed to things that are high calorie. So or stick to the low calorie beers, or just limit yourself to 1 beer or 1 drink, and then put water between it. There's different ways that you can do so that you can enjoy yourself socially with your friends and family, so that way it doesn't feel completely restricted.
Yeah,
so
very important, especially now as we enter, guys, like we mentioned, Halloween, and then of course we have Thanksgiving a few weeks later, and then Christmas comes up, and Hanukkah or whatever it is you celebrate at the end of the year, and the New Year, and it's that season of time. And the last thing you want to do during that time is isolate yourself socially. It is, from somebody who's done it during the holidays, it is very unhealthy actually, because as soon as you come off the end of that and you will give up socially at some point, it is like floodgate just open, and then you're like, give me all the cookies and you're gonna be okay. It's gonna be all right. So don't deprive yourself socially. Relationships are very, very important, and a lot of relationships happen over food.
So if you've noticed here, we're talking about that lifestyle change as opposed to thinking of diet, because we think of so many things in the terms of that word diet that's been ingrained in us from media, from years. You think about the Weight Watchers or your LA Fitness type of a diet. There's different things out there, and so you think of diet as a different way, but it means way of life. So it's your lifestyle. So make those good lifestyle choices, and everything will fall into line. So those are some tips from us today for our Macros Monday. Have a great Halloween week, and we will come to you next week with some more macros tips, and it will be November next week.
Already.
I know, crazy. All right, guys, you have a good rest of your week, and take care. Bye.